Other yellow hat guy here, back with another video. Now let's talk some gaming news. Now, ignore the fact that I've got the Spawn Wave Sony PS3 screen or whatever up in the background. I have to talk about this because I've spent the last almost 3 years now, it feels like, talking about a Nintendo Switch Pro. Now, for those of you who, the 5 people who are into gaming and don't know what that is, you've had the Switch OLED, which looked like it was going to be the Switch Pro. When I say OLED, I mean OLED, right? That's a special type of screen that, it's going to enhance colors. They're going to pop out more. A lot of cell phones may have it. But traditionally, you have TVs and devices like that may have it on the higher end, but most screens might be LCD or something like that, right? Anyway, Nintendo had an opportunity to put that out, but then I think we had COVID and stuff like that go on, so, we never got that system. Now, it's been a few years. By a few, I mean several years, and by several, I mean, hey, Switch came out 2017. Look, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is what they're shipping out the rest of this year on it. And if you really look back, that was on the Wii U, like 2012. So, that game's been out for what feels like 12 years or whatever, and they're still releasing an OLED bundle with that game and then a regular Switch with that game. And they're making that, and it's very irritating. I know it's business, and Nintendo is a company that's trying to make as much money as they can. That's how they stick around. But I kind of feel exploited. I feel exploited telling people who don't have a Switch and they're excited and it's affordable now to get one. It's like, no, don't get one. There's another one coming out. Why would you do that? But somewhere there's an audience for it. People break these things. There's little kids who can maybe get their own. And then suddenly, bam, here's a brand new one, and you're stuck with that other stuff, and nobody wants it. And I get it, Nintendo doesn't make money off of GameStop when they, buy these systems in and, sell them back. But I won't be buying any more Nintendo products, or consoles, that is, until it is the next system. So where's the aggression coming from? Well, I just told you how long it's been since they put out a new system. Well, recently, like the last few days, because I'm late with this one, images have leaked online. Now, I won't show those images here in this video. And I know some other people have, bigger YouTubers, heck, even some smaller ones. I don't want Nintendo coming after me for nothing. I would love to have a great relationship with them, but I'm not going to take that chance. I don't really think anything would happen to my channel over it, but again, not even going to play. It's one of those things where, hey, maybe years later they're like, we want Yellow Hat Guy, but he was showing off stuff that was secret. And you got to remember, this is one of those things where if it was your work, your hard work and effort, and you wanted to have your moment to share it and somebody undercut you, how would you feel about that, right? You'd feel pretty crappy. And I'm not justifying these guys sharing the information, but it's like, Nintendo, you should have already. If it's already in mass production like they're saying it is, a couple days ago it started, you should have had your presentation before it. You have yourself to blame for that part of it, Semantics and morals and all that aside, look, the images are out there if you want to see them for yourself. I'm not going to say that all of them are real. I believe the ones that are actual pictures are real. If you look at the tracings on the motherboard that's there, it supports what you see in the actual image that I have up here. The actual image is the specs. And I'm going to read that to you. You probably already read it because I probably have it here beside it the entire video because I'm not showing anything else. But look, the specs, they gave me what I wanted. The images, they're, some of these are CAD files. These are what people use to kind of make, accessories or get an idea of what you're working with. They may not be true to the current iteration of the model. In the kind of work that I do, there's some kind of 3D model guy who uses AutoCAD and what have you. Sometimes I have to use software like that myself. and create like a mock-up, a design, and give people an idea of either what this machinery is going to look like or a room that's going to have, you know, machinery and equipment and things of that nature. All of that said, they're saying it's going to be called Switch 2. Okay, cool. And they're also saying, when I say they, I mean these people that are leaking out this information. There's a guy who's in China, works at Foxconn. I know it sounds like my uncle that works at Nintendo, but look, keep listening to me here. This guy supported himself by showing his badge and different information, all of since that has been deleted from these forums that he shared it with. But he's saying, hey, look, this is why you should believe me. I'm showing my credentials here, although you may not know me and this and that. If it's in production, that could be anybody. And they're taking a huge risk. They're throwing their life away to, you know, get out here and share stuff that they know that they shouldn't. You know, you probably sign NDAs and things like that when you're working in these kinds of factories, for sure. And he was like, screw it. I want to, you know, share what I can share. All of that said, look, it's got similar features. It's got an additional button on the Joy-Con, the right Joy-Con. I wish I had a controller beside me to really support what I'm saying. But again, you can look at these images yourself. There is an interesting USB-C connection at the top of the system that they're showing in these images. Now, some people felt like that could be for charging or maybe connecting another screen. Today, which is why I'm putting this video up now, they're saying another Chinese person who's an influencer, YouTuber, or whatever, she for a while has had 3D printed concepts. When I say concept, like she's got an actual system printed, and you can't, you know, just 3D print something in like a day, something like that very quickly. So maybe she had those CAD files for a while and made her own, you know. Maybe she thought Nintendo would drop their own system. And I don't know what people are doing or what they're thinking, but we do know that the system reveal has to be imminent. It didn't happen this week like a lot of people, you know, speculated. Some of you guys, you know, you held contests saying you were going to wear, you know, certain costumes and stuff like that. I expect to see you dressed up like Tingle from Zelda and stuff like that, eating hot peppers because, you know, you were wrong. It's still looking like it's an October reveal at the, we thought the latest, but that might be the earliest now. Who knows? No one really knows what Nintendo is doing, but we do know that there is a Switch successor. You know, they didn't say Switch 2, but it's a Switch successor. And we know it's going to be revealed before the fiscal year. If it's in production like they're saying it is, we're looking at a 6-month time frame. So I believe all that. I believe the images that we saw were real. I'm not going to tell you they're real, but I believe that they're real. The CAD images, not so much. Those could just still be prototypes. But all the features and you see in the specs, these specs that I'm putting up, I believe that to be true. If nothing else, I believe the specs, you know, from what we've been shared is true. It's going to have, and let me pull that up while I'm rambling to, you know, just pretty much discuss it with y'all. All right. So when we look at the specs, it's definitely doing 4K, okay? It's going to, you know, and why I believe it's true is because who's going to take the time to fake motherboards and stuff like that? You know, the buttons not being there and the controllers. Maybe, you know, it's a highly elaborate fake if that's what we're seeing here. But they've got names and stuff of the, you know, console itself, the Joy-Cons, you know, for the left and right, and the dock. The dock is the one thing we haven't seen. I guess no one taken the time to get their hands on that, but I imagine we will get that soon. I know there's some fake videos showing a dock, but we've seen the patents for this system too. And it looks like, you know, and this is my opinion, the Switch 2, or whatever they're calling it, which I'm going to keep saying Switch 2 because that's what everyone is calling it and that's what they're saying it's going to be called. If you remember the Wii U had this gamepad that you could use both the TV and the screen on the gamepad. And that was convenient because if you wanted to use the television for something else, you could still use the gamepad to play your games. And that's cool when, let's say you're playing a 3DS game or DS game, you still have dual screens. You can still use your TV screen and the bottom screen for, the I want to call it Switch Online, but the virtual console games that they allowed you to have back then. Now it's a little bit easier for Nintendo if something like that supported, and you've got a dock that, let's say you've got your, let's say this was my Switch, right? And my hand is the dock. Well, my hand being the dock, it could, still show something on the screen and on the television. And if this dock is smaller and a little more portable, that's convenient if this thing has an 8-hour battery life or whatever, and that's not enough for you for a true gaming session for whatever reason, let's just say. Instead of having to rely on the little flimsy port at the bottom there and having to set it on the little kickstand, just take your dock with you and have the system docked there and play and get the performance that you want if you don't really care about the graphics being 4K on the television. The performance, the DLSS and all that. That makes sense to me. But what I told you earlier, this woman, she claims that this could support a camera. We all know Nintendo keeps dabbling in VR. They failed with Virtual Boy. They tried again with some kind of VR, like little headset with, the Switch. You can limited stuff there. Maybe they get it right this time if they have this camera and you've got, PS4 Pro capabilities, because that's what this tells you here. If you are able to read between the lines, I'm going to break it down for you. This Switch here, it is outside of the dock capable of doing PS4 graphics. Between PS4 and maybe Xbox One, it can do that kind of power. Handheld, 1080p in your hand, it can do PS4 and Xbox One. That's pretty good if you ask me for a handheld system. When it's docked, it's capable of doing PS4 Pro and Xbox Series S type graphics capabilities. So, PS4 Pro was still 4K. So that's what you're getting when it's docked. Now, the power of a Series S is, I want to say, a little bit, closer to what you think when you look at next gen, because it is next gen, but it's nowhere in comparison to an Xbox Series X or a PS5. But these developers still make games for Series S, some of these games that are on PS5, they're still they could have been on PS4 Pro, right? Final Fantasy VII Remake, they're claiming there's demos out there, not demos, but developers are able to play that on their handheld, the Switch, whatever developer system they've got. So, hey, if I can get a lot of these older games ported over that were PS4, PS4 Pro style, bring them on. I'm not against that. There's a lot of third-party games that Nintendo didn't get. Some of these PlayStation VR games, they should come on over. The Resident Evil, forget this cloud mode stuff. Just go ahead and, when I say cloud mode, you know what I'm talking about, right? The cloud version. Forget all that. Bring it on over. So look, I've rambled a lot, but the rest of the specs are here. It's going to have 256 gigabytes. Okay, that's still underpowered, but if you told me Nintendo was going to double the 32 that's on the Switch and give you 64, you'd face palm, but you'd say, well, that's a Nintendo move. But hey, these newer games that are coming out, you've got to have more than that. There were speculation from those drawings that maybe there's 2 USB ports or 2 SD cards, excuse me. That would be great. I didn't necessarily see that, But hey, how cool would it be if the dock had something like that? Or maybe the dock, they'll finally allow you to put a USB in there for additional storage. That should be what they allow, because the bigger these games are, you're going to need to be transferring them between the operating system, the 256 internal, your SD card, which, by now you should have a terabyte, in my opinion. I know I'm going to buy another one. And then maybe you've got, for your older Switch games that were digital, you can move those off of your SD card and put them on, an older thumb drive or something like that. That's how I'm thinking it. And at that point, you could still have, 2 to 3 terabytes and kind of enjoy gaming like you would for your PS4 Pro. So all of that's exciting to me, because Mario should have been in 4K like 4 or 5 years ago. But to finally get it, hey, I'm excited. The memory here is 6GX2 dual. I can't see the rest of what that word is. It's chopped off, so my apologies. But what that translates to is you're going to have 2 chips that are, 12 gigabytes of memory there. And I believe it was like some form of like GDR5 or something like that. So, hey, that's pretty beefy, because Nintendo has 4 gigs in the Switch. Audio chip, don't really care about that. It's going to have the NFC reader, and it has a built-in microphone, so hopefully we can chat with people. So my initial thought was that top USB-C port was for like a headset or something. Some of these newer headsets use that. And maybe it could be. Maybe it's an all-purpose port. Maybe you could charge other devices on it. But they're saying right now, hey, it's for a camera. So, cool. I'm happy with that if that's what it's for. Like I said, VR, or, you could actually record your gameplay. But they're going back to concepts from the Wii U. And hopefully this works out in their favor, because every other console, especially the ones that are successors, haven't been good for Nintendo. And if you don't believe me, 64 was, it held its own because it was 64, but GameCube did not do well. Better system than the 64, but the software, the timing, the market supported Nintendo 64, because PlayStation still was using CDs and not DVDs. And by the time DVDs were out, Switch has mini DVDs. Wii came out, helped Nintendo bounce back. Underpowered system, but again, the market, what was available there, it still could do DVDs, right? But it had a gimmick, the motion controls. It sold. It sold. Wii U, better system than the Wii, but it's like, is that not the same thing? People were confused. It wasn't as innovative as it could have been. Still a great concept with the tablet there, because it said, hey, we can kind of do what we were doing with the 3DS over here if we kind of get it to where you can still use your TV as the default screen and then the second screen for whatever on the gamepad. Well, problems were there. You couldn't travel but in your house with that and really utilize it. Here you have the Switch, and it's like, oh, that's what we wanted, but let's see what they do with this next system, okay? So, all that said, let me know what your thoughts are. If you stay with me to the end, let me know what you think the price point is going to be. In the comments, they're saying $400, but I would pay as far as $500. That's probably my max. I'm not going to pay $700 for this PS5 Pro. Miss me with that, especially when you're making the PS6. And they're playing this cat and game mouse, Nintendo and Sony. Sony knows they don't have the software to justify a PS5 period right now. It's supposed to do 8K, and we have no 8K games really. But if they feel like the consumer wants more power closer to PC, they're going to give you that. In the meantime, you're going to wait on games, whereas Nintendo is going to give you plenty of games, but you're going to have to wait on the power. That's the difference. And me, I'm just like, I just want the games. I would love to have graphics and everything, but if you're not going to give me the features, then, you know, what do I care? If you give me all this power and I can't even play, you know, 4K DVDs and movies, I'm talking to Sony at this point. What is it for? I don't have the themes and everything that I bought on PS4 Pro. What is this for? Nintendo, on the other hand, doesn't give you any of that. But you're okay with that if the games, which is what you're buying the system is for, is center stage. So we'll see. I hope they announce something soon, but it'll be here before you know it. This year has gone by in a flash. Like, comment, subscribe, share, as always. And when I find out some more information, I'll be sure to make another video like this if you would like. I'll probably make one anyway if you don't like it, but other Yellow Hat guys out. Hey, how are you? I'm Captain Sensation. I'm on Twitch and YouTube. Enjoy my creations. Movie reviews, let's plays, they're amazing. Stay tuned for more. I'm Captain Sensation. Sympathy for Pokemon and Atari. Wait, here's more funny Mario Party. Games that are chores and some that are gnarly. Fun with Gen X version Rose and Kari. Woo! There we go, y'all. Been waiting to do that for a little bit. But hey, see y'all on the next one.